What is your favorite thing to do when you are stuck on a creative project?
I remember asking Gabby pretty much this question, and I think we might even have a YouTube video up with some information on that, basically. What do you do to get motivated?
For me, to get motivated, I'm usually not motivated personally because I'm overwhelmed. So when I get overwhelmed, just in the sense of, like, I usually don't show it physically, but, like, inside of my body, I might not even realize it, but there's so much on my plate that I'm just really not motivated to do anything.
But you were like, you just gotta step away for a second, and you said to exercise, because that's really good at just, like, resetting your mind, and then you can come back to it fresh.
Yeah, it's good. I'm like, I said that? I'm just kidding. I remember that video. No, yeah, I agree with that. I agree with Hunter on that, and myself partially, because I said it and he just regurgitated it. But yeah, I believe sometimes you just need to step away and take a moment. And it's different for everyone. I like to exercise, but the next person might be like, go listen to some music or talk with a friend or something.
I guess another version of that is sleep on it. Is if you're frustrated with something, and I'll do this a lot, is, sleep on it, but make sure when you wake up, the very first thing you do is go back to that project and look at it. And usually once you sleep on it, right away you'll see, where you're going wrong or what you can do to fix it or whatever.
That's so true. Do you find yourself, Steven, because you're a graphic designer, so like and I know from my own graphics perspective, I don't, label myself a graphic designer per se, but when I do a graphic, I know if I'm frustrated and I'm not quite sure where to take it, if I sleep on it and I come back the next day, I feel like I have an instant answer. Is that how it works for you, or is it different?
One interesting trick is, I don't know where I got this from, but if it's visual, one thing you can do is look at it in a mirror or look at it in reverse. Like if you're working digitally, flip it around. Because a lot of times if you're doing graphic design and you're looking at a lot of text, your eye is looking at the text as text and you're not seeing the whole composition. If you flip it around and you can't really read it, or, look at it upside down, look at it in a way where you're not seeing it as you have been seeing it. My understanding is there were a lot of classical artists that if they were frustrated, they would just simply take a mirror and look at their painting or whatever in a mirror. And that way they got like this different view of like how their proportions are and stuff like that.
Wow, that is cool. I've never heard that.
That's cool. Good tip.
Yeah, Grace, how about you as a writer? I mean, as a musician, I feel like when I'm making music and I get stuck, which I don't usually get stuck, I think for me, I end up just doing a song and then I listen to it all day and my ears kind of go numb almost. I'm like, I've heard this song for too long, and then I sleep on it or I go exercise or something. I come back to it and I'm like, oh, I don't like that pitch. I don't like that note. I don't like that note. Let's redo that. And so what about you as a writer? How do you get past that?
Well, one thing that writers love to talk about is writer's block. And if you talk to a lot of actual professional writers, like people who actually get to write full time, especially people who write, novels or fiction full time or something, will tell you that writer's block, yes, you can feel like you're blocked or stuck, but writer's block isn't really a thing. It's just, whether you want to make an excuse for not writing or doing your work, or you just feel stuck, but it's not an insurmountable thing that just rises up out of nowhere. Is really what they mean by that. So if you have writer's block, or you're just stuck or frustrated or whatever, whether you're a writer or any other kind of artist. But for me, sometimes exercise, usually just doing something else, sometimes doing something creative that's not related to the main project I'm working on. Like, I'm trying to write a book and, this scene is just not happening and I feel totally stuck with my characters and what I'm trying to do. So doing something creative that's totally not related, like, visual art, or I'm not much of a painter or a drawer, but just, crafty projects or a sewing project or something like that. Something that's creative, but is totally not at all the same kind of art. Which will keep me creative, but I guess it uses, a different part of your brain or something. And for me, as a writer, this would kind of only apply to writing probably, but if I'm telling a story and I don't know what I need to write in the next scene and I'm feeling stuck, then I will write another scene that takes place later on in the book rather than the scene I'm working on, or I'll write a little vignette with the character that's not actually going to take place in the book, but I'm just developing my character. That's probably specifically to just writing. But like Steven with the visual art thing, you know, that trick doesn't necessarily apply to every creative project, but if you're doing something visual, that's an awesome tip. So I guess a more generic tip for creatives in general would be to try doing a creative project that's not at all related to what your main project is. Do something totally different.
Yeah.
But
that's
still
cool.
creative.
Yeah. And I always ask myself, if I'm getting frustrated, it's usually because I put pressure on this piece of art that isn't really supposed to be there. So, you know, I'm so worried about what other people are going to think sometimes or whatever that I have to remind myself, like, hey, you are doing this because you like it. And so it really just matters what you think, not what someone else thinks. And I usually can get past it. Like, oh, hey, remember, like, this was fun for you. Like, it's okay. Can't always do that if you're working for someone else. But yeah.
Make sure you subscribe. We here at Helps You, we love doing videos, and we have some great things coming at you. We have things for writers, musicians, business owners, anybody who really has a project and a heart to reach people. We want to help them do it. So if you are a creative or business owner, we got tons for you.